Welcome back to another Cycle Frontier guide. Just a quick one today as I'm waiting until the launch of Season 1 and the final pre-season patch before I dive into anything bigger, but I feel like the quarters won't be amended for the patch, or if it is I don't imagine it'll be changed by much. So one of the key parts of the Cycle Frontier outside of the raids and the missions is upgrading your prospector quarters. Within your quarters you have two main areas, the generator where you can collect insurance and from supply crates and Twitch drops when they begin, and there's also your workbench where you can use materials and money to upgrade parts of your quarters. So there are three subsections to upgrade, and it gets a bit confusing, but you have the generators again, the workbench, and your inventory. To upgrade an area it usually costs a combination of three things: K-marks, faction tokens, which are earned by completing quests for the correct faction, and lootable or craftable materials found while playing the game. Starting with the easiest, the inventory is where you can increase the size of your stash and also of your safe pockets. It's relatively cheap in terms of the materials and K-marks required to upgrade your inventory, at least up until around 135 spaces, which should be plenty to get what you're going with. More expensive, but in my opinion more important, is the upgrade of your safe pockets. This will allow you to extract either quest items or valuable loot more easily. Up until around 9 weight, this is not super difficult to do, especially as they have increased the spawn rates of the nutrition bars, which during the closed beta were almost impossible to find. Next is the workbench. This is the easiest to understand and in my opinion the least essential to upgrade. All the workbench upgrades allow you to do is increase the speed of the other upgrades. But a key side note, as workbench upgrades aren't too hard to complete, they can be worth doing as you are limited on how many other upgrades you can complete without doing a complete upgrade of your quarters. Now I've just said a lot of words there, but essentially you'll see in the top left, once you've reached a certain number of upgrades you can do a complete overhaul of your quarters, and this will unlock further levels of upgrading. So finally we move on to the generators. There are three generators. The K-marks and Aurum generators allow you to earn currency in the background while playing the raids or offline. One upgrade allows you to increase the rate at which these are earned, and the other increases the generation cap. So this means that you can't just go away for 6 months and come back to millions of K-marks and Aurum sitting waiting for you. Personally, after 1 or 2 Aurum generator upgrades, I don't see the value, especially compared to the total cost of the upgrade. Level 1 Aurum gives you 0.46 per hour, and the maximum level you can get from my understanding is 1.33, so that it really isn't a huge difference. And I understand this, Aurum is earned through generation or by purchasing with real currency, and so they don't want you to be able to earn too much via this method. K-marks generators will allow you to earn up to thousands of K-marks per hour in return, which is a useful way of keeping a constant source of income every time you log into the game. And finally we have supply crates. Every 24 hours you can be gifted a supply crate, which has a chance of containing these items on the screen. Every time you upgrade this you increase your chance of higher rarity items spawning. Now currently there's no chance of high rarity weapons spawning, but by upgrading this you can get daily supplies of green and blue armor and bags, which in my mind is totally worth it. Saves you on crafting as many utilities and armor, and it can be a good boost if you've been losing a lot of gear recently. So quickly to wrap up, I'm going to go in order of my preference in what I'd like to upgrade first and what my priorities are. So first we have the safe pockets. As I mentioned before, this is super useful for getting quests done. Then we have the supply crate, then the Aurum generator for that initial boost of Aurum every day, K-marks, and finally the inventory size. I think you can bash out a few inventory upgrades early on, and then it's not massively essential, but inventory size can move up in importance depending on how full my stash is. Generally this is how I rank things, but a lot of it is up to personal preference, and I can understand why some would value money generation above everything else. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed the content, drop a like and leave a comment for any other guides you'd be interested in, and if you are new here, subscribe for more. Cheers.
Prospector, don't be a stranger.